And good evening and welcome to Monday Night Live, the late edition. Holy crap, thank you for joining me late, an hour late, to all who can hang in there. I promise I'll make it worth it to you. It has been a what could go wrong week to remember here. So I'll kind of fill you in on what's going on. But before I do any of that, first thing I want to do is I want to say huge thank you to Brian Moore, Rhea Shea, and Honey last week. You guys had offered up your super thanks, and that means the world to me. It has been one heck of a week. So the quick story is Marge has a Grand Cherokee that she loves to pieces, and it was giving her a little bit of problem. It was like kind of starting to overheat at stoplights. And so she was scheduled for an oil change anyway, so she brought it in, and they basically said it needs $4,000 worth of work. So all kinds of radiator stuff, all kinds of crazy stuff. And where Marge was at with the car was that it made more sense actually to trade it in. So we've been wrestling with that. My car goes in tomorrow for a bunch of service that it needs before I take my trip at the end of the month, or beginning of next month for Keith Hansen's wedding, which is going to be a blast. But we have that piled on top too. And yeah, it has been insane. So Brian, Rhea, and Honey, thank you so much. That actually means the world to me right now. It's crazy. So we also have my daughter's wedding in November. So it has been a wild ride, Mr. Toad. So if you are interested in purchasing artwork from me, for God's sake, please do. That would be amazing. There are 2 paintings that are up right now on my site that are half off. And I'll even go so far as to say if there's anything else on my site that you would like, send me a private message. And, you know, if you're not quite there where the prices are on those, you know, and can, you know, need a little bit of help with that, I am more than willing to help out you guys so you guys can help me out. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So thank you all, you guys. Tonight we're going to start with the giveaway. I'm going to show you the 5 paintings and then we're just going to give one away. That way we can get that pretty much on schedule. And then I have George's X1 penny. So I figured we'd work on that for a little while. I think I can make some pretty good ground on that tonight, even though we started late. We're not going to use the microscope. I'm going to use the microscope for the details later, which I'll do on my own. All right, so let's look at paintings and we'll get started because I know you guys have been super patient. And I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you. All right, let me say hi to everyone too. Well, people are jumping on. Brian Moore. Oh, also, I meant to also mention, Brian, your painting is on the way. Excuse me, I can't talk. I was, again, it was a wild weekend, so I didn't get the shipments out till this morning. So Brian, yours are on the way. They should be there midweek, I think. And then I don't know if Paul is on, but Paul grabbed a painting and that's also on its way. Paul's a little bit farther out, so his will get there on Saturday. So hello, Brian Moore. Hello, Rhea. There we go. Auntie Paula, what is up? Steve, what's good? I'm glad you're here. Ian, what's happening? Hello, Patty C. Patty, I loved your posts, man. Made me hungry. It's awesome. Todd, what's up? And Wayne, what's going on, buddy? Dan Mayer, hello. James Cully, what's good? Thank you all for jumping in late. I love you guys. Michael McClung, thank you. Oh, Rhea, I just got to your thing. Holy crap, Rhea, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. Oh my gosh. A penny painting for your thoughts. I love it, honey. Thank you so much, you guys. All right, let's get to it because I'm going to cry. Let's get to the paintings. Now, your bonus for tonight, because I'm running late and because I was like a house of fire, is I have 5 543s for you. So that's what we started with. The 543s are named because I did 5 of them and they're 4 inches by 3 inches or 3 inches by 4 inches. Whatever you want to do. So that's how they came up with the name 543. But then recently I kind of scaled back to 3. So tonight I did 5. So that's your bonus. So we have 2 people on the list to win, and then, you know, they can choose from those. So let's look at them. All right. Ryan, what's up? Yay. All right, so let's do it. Starting right at the top. I chose this one. Well, one, because it's a good topic, but also this suggestion is from one of the people eligible to win, and I didn't recognize his name, so I believe he's new. So welcome, Dan Wyborn. So Dan last week asked for a CF-105 Arrow, and so this is a great plane, so I had to do this one. So this is the Avro Arrow, and I'm going to get you guys closer too. So that's what this beauty looks like, and this looks like something that could be flying today. However, the Arrow was only manufactured for 2 short years, from 1957 to 1959, which is amazing to think. You know, this plane looks like it's pretty much today. The design work for this plane began in 1953. Of course, was made by the Avro Aviation Company in Canada. Its first flight was in 1958, but shortly after that, the entire program was halted. It was halted in 1959. All the orders, all the designs, and all the toolings for this plane were ordered to be destroyed. So this set off this crazy controversy, and it was wild. And the result, basically, of the cancellation of the program basically put Avro out of business, which is sad. If you want to see one of these amazing planes, they do have a replica, full-size replica, in the Canadian Air and Space Museum. So that is my Avro, and I put on a little SL 543 because I can do that. So there is your Avro Arrow, and I call that CF-105 Arrow. So there's number one. Number one. What's it like having 5? I don't remember, but it's cool. Hello, everyone. I'm not going to jump in and say hi. I see Kyle's on. Hello, Kyle. And JC, what's up? I'm going to try to keep going so we can get painting. But hello, everyone, if I missed you. Next up, this one I pulled from a little while ago because I saw this one and I didn't get a chance to do it. So I grabbed it for tonight. This one comes to us from our buddy Robert O'Malley. Robert O'Malley asked for a 1965 Barracuda. So this is a great car. I've done a 70 Barracuda, but the 65 is cool. So here it is. And I decided to do the rear end of this car because it's just so iconic. Most people are familiar with the 70s Barracudas. That's really the car that kind of everyone knows about, the big muscle cars, but the 65 was pretty elegant. The 65 is basically a first generation Barracuda. They began producing them in 1964. Basically, they marketed the Barracuda, this version, with a slant 6 170 cubic motor, which isn't terribly large. And during that 1965, they also offered the V8 Commando engine, which gave those first hints of what this car was going to become, that massive muscle car. So in 1965, few cars had this cool boat tail type of rear window, this wraparound rear window. One of my favorite cars of all time is the 65 Riviera, which also had a similar kind of rear window. So that's one of the big reasons I did it this way. And of course, this one's a 543C. So it's got a little bit of color in there. So that's 65 CUDA. So there you go. That is that one. Good job, Robert O'Malley. Who else did I see here? You guys are all jumping in. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. This is great, even though we're late. I love it. All right, next up. Let me switch pages, because usually I don't have to switch pages. This is awesome. Next one up is from Steve Butkus, FTWBFTY, or whatever his name is. I can never remember it, but Fitbubwifwifwi is Steve. So Steve last week asked for a Scorpion. I've done Scorpions before, but I want to do this one again because I had a cool idea. So I wanted to make this almost like glass-like. And I'll get you close in on this one. I didn't get you close in on the Barracuda. Hold on. That's what the Barracuda looks like. And it's cool because it's all crazy dark and gangstery looking and all that. All right. So the Scorpion here looks like this guy. And I wanted this guy to be like jewel-like kind of see-through. And that's kind of what I came up with. So the Scorpion is one of my favorite predatory arachnids. It is of the arachnid family. There are over 2,500 species of this little guy, and it has 22 extant families living today, and that's basically what extant means, that they're living today. Their lineage goes back 435 million years. So these dudes have been around for a really, really long time. They can be found in just about every continent except Antarctica. And my title for this one is Here I Am. So if you are a 80s pop metal fan, you will know where this title comes from. It comes from the hit Rock You Like a Hurricane from the Scorpions in 1984. Love It First Sting was the album. So here I am, Rock You Like a Hurricane. I'll let you guys sing that. So there's number 3, which is normally where we stop, but we're going. We're going. There's Steve. What's up, Steve? Yeah, I had a fun time with these, honey. All right, next one. Ria's on. So there was a little mix-up before with Ria's win. She had asked for the Hummingbird, and I thought I gave it away, and then I lost it, and then it ended up getting there, and it was all crazy. So anyway, I was prepared to do another one, and so I had it all prepped. So I'm like, I'm going to do it now. So here is the Hummingbird that we would have done. And I took a little bit of extra on this one. And if you notice, it's very shiny. So I used Createx Auto Air pearls on this, which are really wicked pearls now. But I still have some old bottles of Auto Air. So this has a lime pearl green, and then the purple is also metallic. And there's also a little bit of blue flare sparkle in that too. Let me show you this one here. So that's how this little guy came out. Let me make sure it's focused. There we go. So there he is. And this is purple and green, so I named this one Joker's Hum for the Joker, for Joker colors. And that is how that one came out. So, of course, this is also a 543C. So now we've got 3 543Cs. I told you I was trying to take care of you guys this week. And now we have one more left. So this one, if you remember here, you saw this time lapse when I finished it, which was early. And this one comes to us from Honey Rivera. Honey asked for a vacuum tube. So I have a special place in my heart for vacuum tubes, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But this is my little vacuum tube, and this one's called Memories. And not only is this a 543C, but it is also the time-lapse video. So if you are a member, you saw me put this one together. And if you're not a member, you can check this one out on Tuesday, tomorrow morning. This will go live. And so the basic idea behind this one, well, let's talk about vacuum tubes first. So these vacuum tubes were called electron tubes, or in the UK, they're called thermionic valves. They're basically a device that controls an electronic current flow in a high vacuum between electrodes. So it's basically the way that you get electricity to pass through certain things like radios and TVs and guitar amplifiers and things like that. The tube was originally invented in 1904 by John Fleming, and they made up a key component for basically the first half of the 20th century in electronic circuits. They were replaced by semiconductors, which went on to make solid state. When you hear solid state, that's basically what took over all these little guys. But I have a real fond memory of this because, again, guitar amplifiers had them in it. And my dad played guitar, and I specifically remember you could see the tubes in the amplifier if you looked in the back of it. And I remember being a little kid just laying behind Dad's amplifier and just looking at the tubes while he played, because they glow and they're beautiful. They glow with this orange kind of Christmassy light type of thing. So I used to just lay there and stare at the tubes while Dad played. So this one's called Memories, and that's where that one comes from. So there you go. So if you are one of the 2 lucky people tonight, which is Todd and Dan. If you win tonight, you can choose one of those, or you can pick one of the ones off my site, and that's how it goes. And after that, if someone doesn't choose whatever from here, everything else will go on my site, so you can grab it. But they're the 2. So Dan is number 1 and Todd is number 2. All right, so let's get to painting. I'll put these away. Oh no, what am I saying? We're going to draw one right now. I'll leave these up. That's right, I'm so used to doing this in a certain order. Let me out. Oh, God. I've got this. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's good. So let's go to this. No, we don't want 100. We want 2. So here we go. So here is your winner tonight. Remember, Dan is number 1. Todd is number 2. Your winner is, so I can find the mouse. Here we go. Is number 1. Congratulations, Dan Wyborn. So Dan's a winner. That probably leaves only Todd left. So here we go. So there we go. So Dan won tonight. Dan, if you are on, I haven't been paying attention, but you may choose one of those. If not, I will post it tomorrow so you can see it, and hopefully you check. And that leaves Todd. So unless we have a new person jump on, Todd needs to make a suggestion, because if it's only Todd, we don't even have to draw names next week, which is exciting. We'll just give Todd a painting. Yay! Gary, what's up, brother? I see you. I see everyone saying hello to Gary, so that means he's on. All right, so let me put these away, and we'll get busy. There we go. All right. So you guys got to keep an eye out. See if we. I mean, I'll check anyway. But if we get anyone new on, we can have them make suggestions. But so far, right now, I think it's only Dan left, which is awesome. Oh, that doesn't have a magnet on the back. Here's the penny. Here's what we're doing. I thought this had a magnet. Huh. Oh, it doesn't, because this is going to be a little bit of like trying to catch up, because I haven't worked on this since I did this last with you. But this is on the microscope. That's why it doesn't have a magnet on it. Well, it's going to have a magnet now. Let's grab one. Now I got Rock You Like a Hurricane stuck in my head. All right, so here's one of the sheet magnets that I use. So those are really cool because they go like that. And Todd is the new Kyle. I know, yeah. Todd is the new Kyle, or the new Ian, or the new Brian. So Todd will get a painting. We know it. We know it's going to happen. Got a bolt already. Ryan, thank you so much for hanging out. I know this is a little bit later. I'm going to go for a little bit. So I know you guys weren't planning on this, but it has been one hell of a weekend. All right, so I'm going to pull this off. Incidentally, I don't know if I showed you guys, but I did polish this. So let me switch over to this camera. So I did polish and seal this. There's a little bit of overspray on that, but the center gives you an idea. Obviously, with coins, you don't do that because it removes material off, and that's bad for the value of the coin. But this coin isn't going to be valuable because of its shininess. It's going to be because of the other stuff. Oh, there it is. I just saw it. Todd, front end of a B25 Mitchell. Awesome. First of all, awesome suggestion. Second of all, you're in. You're in. That's it. That's it. Let's see what happens. You guys can silently moan if someone new jumps on and puts in a suggestion. I'm going to adjust all this so you guys... Actually, I'll move you out here because you guys don't need to go for the ride. So again, I'm going to kind of mess with this with the... without the microscope, then I'll use the microscope later to do the details, because that was cool and it was fun setting it up that way, but yeah, it's not what we want to do tonight. I wanted to just kind of jump on and get this going. So let's see how that looks. Yeah, I think we're good. Hey, what is up, Mr. Patrick? Yeah, buddy. What's going on, brother? Rick Latta, hello, buddy. Ron, what's going on? I was watching, Cheese Grits and NyQuil is, if for those who don't remember, is Western Massacre Lock Sport now. He changed his name because he's got his own channel now, and he wanted it to align more with what he's going to be doing with his lock picking stuff. So I've been watching his channel a lot. It's a lot of fun. So he just had a video today, and seriously, Patrick, when you pulled out the tickler, I laughed out loud. So before you guys get disgusting, that is a lock picking tool. It's the tickler, and but it's actually the tickler. But it makes me happy listening to Patrick talk, because Pat lives in Massachusetts, and that's how we say it there. It's the little tickler. Oh, I should have mentioned too, my I can't show you because we're super close now. Well, actually I can. Tonight's cheers is I went Wisconsin on you guys. I got Leinenkugel. This is the summer shandy. We're not going to be able to get this now that they're moving into fall. So I grabbed a 6-pack because I needed that. I needed that summer in my life, and it's very good. All right. Bill, what's up? Better lock picking than nose picking. Some people can do both, honey, and I'm going to leave it at that. All right, so what I did do on this so far is I kind of cleaned up the jet. Again, if you want to see what we're doing, this is Let's jump back to this real quick. This is the Glamorous Glennis, which I can almost not even say that out loud because John Glenn's family, I guess, is crazy about the whole thing, and they're like Don Henley when it comes to copyrights, and they want to, make everyone pay them or whatever. It's terrible. But anyway, this is the plane. It was the first plane to go supersonic, faster than the speed of sound. I'm using as a reference. You notice this guy's going in the other direction, but I love this painting. This is by Mark Carvon. I always screw that up. Mark Carvon. And so I love the whole idea and the way he kind of handled this. So I'm kind of using that as a template, kind of a inspiration guide for mine. Mine is going in the other direction and, the other side or whatever. So there you go. Because this side I don't think says Glamorous Glennis on it. So, and I found out all that stuff. Hey, Chris, what's up? Cheers to you, buddy. I found out all this from our buddy Bryant. Bryant Dunbar was telling me that the family is like crazy about going after people, and everyone too. And they even tried to copyright Bell's Orange X color, the color of that plane. So the people couldn't use that color at all either, which is, I mean, I get it. Like if you have a song like I guess, like Don Henley's relentless with his team of lawyers on YouTube, copyright striking everyone, which is, disgusting too, even though, but I also understand protecting, your property, your intellectual property, your copyrights. But this thing here is just a mess. There's nothing that's good about this. So, all right. In any event, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about this. So let me get going on this. What do you want to do? I'm going to put the shading on this guy. I think I'll airbrush the shading on it. And then let me start putting some details on it. I think that's the way we're going to do it. You guys are right there. You guys are super close, which is good. But I can't really see the comments because it's on the other side. Gary! Smaller, yeah, it is smaller than George Washington. I know. So, I like painting on coins. I think it's fun. And I think I'll do more of them, because it's fun to match up the date on the coin with something significant that happened in that year. You'll notice, if you can see it, you can. This is a 1947 coin. So this is when this is when they did that whole test flight or flight that was faster than sound. It happened in 1947. So all right, so I could use that. Could I? Nah, I'm just going to cut it out. So I'm going to move this over here so you can see what I'm doing. There is the photo that I'm using, which is an actual photo. I know this is kind of not in focus here, but in focus back here. It's because of the extreme angle that you're at, but it's the only way I can get you close enough to see what's going on. Alrighty then, so we're going to do the shading on this. So we're going to start with the bottom, and I'm just going to kind of pull out where the shading is. So you notice the upper part of the wing is, in the sun, so that's good. Most of the tail is in the shade, so that's also good. So basically I'm going to cut out everything that I can. Now at a scale like this is micro small. Again, this is an X-Acto blade. Right? It's super small. I can cut it as accurate as I can try, but it's not going to be perfect. I'm going to have to kind of mess with it with the paintbrushes and stuff, and that's just the way it goes, And then plus, everything is magnified, literally. Like the overspray is bad, all of it. So, I do the best I can here, but I know I'm going to have to mess around with this thing. And that's, that's the fun of doing this, if you can say it's fun. Also, I don't know if you guys, if everyone was here when I started this painting is not for sale. This is actually going to go to the gentleman that gave me that very cool microscope. So he doesn't know it yet, but yeah, I thought it was that microscope is really, really nice. And he was given to him by a colleague of his, but that doesn't matter. It still has, a lot of value, and I'll enjoy using it. And he gave it to me because it was given to him, but that doesn't mean I can't give him something in return. And that's how I do things, because I think everyone should win. So, which is why I, brought up the whole, if you're looking for a painting, and I, this is a time right now where, that would really help me out. But I want it to be a win for everyone. You know what I'm saying? I deeply appreciate the super thanks, but and I hope the feed is why you guys do that. But if you guys buy a painting, then it's a win for all of us. You guys get a painting, and I get to not suck wind, which is always fun. All right, so there we go. So that's all the shading, and I'll flip this over so you can see it. But it looks like that. Again, you can see how kind of ragged it is. So it's not going to be perfect, but it doesn't have to be, because I'll end up goofing with it. All right, and now that I'm done with that, I will look to see the comments here. My eyes. Here's an image for you all to take in. Oh, nice. Ian in his nurse's uniform. Yeah, do that. That'll be a good 543, Ian. You send that to me, and that may happen, to your dismay. Patty, Marge is good. Like I said, she picked up her new to her car tonight, and that Grand Cherokee, it's a Trailhawk Grand Cherokee. It's basically her dream car. Not basically, it is her dream car. So that hurt for her to kind of trade that in, but it was the right thing to do. Like I said, it needed a lot of work all of a sudden, and it had some miles on it too. So it was this kind of situation that you cough up the $4,000 right now, but down the road when the 4-wheel drive needs to be maintained or whatever, you're looking at a lot of money there too. So it just made more sense to let it go. So she's not thrilled about that, but all in all, it could have been worse. Can always be worse. All right. Where are we at? People buy paintings, we make space for you to paint more. Yes, honey, that is true. And no one, honey, you have gone above and beyond with your acquisitions, and I deeply appreciate it. Gary's another one, just, has bought a bunch of stuff. A lot of you guys have been absolutely amazing. And I do love you for it. Because this is it. This is what I do, and when you guys do that, you keep me going, and I'm gonna cry again. All right, let's do it. What am I gonna use for this? So in Mark's painting, it's pretty light, the shadow, but I want to go a little bit darker than this because the scale of this guy is so tiny that a subtle shadow might not cut it. So we're gonna start by being reasonably aggressive. I love the magnet there. That magnet is teeny weeny, but it looks like some giant planet, some space planet. Well, I guess all planets are space. Never mind. All right. I know, just paint. For crying out loud. Who gets the call tonight? Let's do the Iwata. The Micron B. I talked to Dave Monig today over at Coast Airbrush. It was so good catching up with him. It's been a while since I've had a chance to talk to him. And I've been on the fence on shipping out my first Micron, my Micron SB, which is a side feed. The reason why I've been hesitant on it is because that is the brush. My dad got me that brush. And so that has an absolutely massive amount of sentimental value to me. But I also want it to be, tip-top shape. So I need to be able to send that out, but also know that it's going to be taken care of exceptionally well. So to know that, Coast is there and Dave, and the staff are people I can talk to about that, makes me kind of put that back on the things to do list. I have a compressor, believe it or not, here that has the equal sentimental value. My dad bought me a Medea Hammerhead compressor, which is a silent compressor, and it was my first silent compressor way back. And I still have that. And that's, God, I got that in, I think, 91. So that's a little bit older than my oldest son, who has a birthday this week on the 25th. So say happy birthday to Colin. So I want to get that fixed too. I did have some work done to it, but it didn't really resolve the problem. And I was talking to Dave, and he's like, yeah, we'll take care of that. So again, it's not about the compressor or the airbrush. It's the fact that, I get exactly that back. You know what I mean? So they are people I would trust with that. And, they have all kinds of other fun stuff too. All right, so I've mixed up a little bit of Blumber here. Can't show you because it's too close, so I'll do here. And what that is burnt umber and a little bit of opaque black. So that's what I'm going to use to shade this. Next Monday, may have to miss the feed for the first time, but my wife's going in for shoulder surgery. Oh, Ian, she can do that on her own. Come on, man. Stop. Just drop her off. I am so kidding, Ian. You have all my thoughts. She's going to do great, and I know you'll make a great nurse for her. Yeah, Michael, that is mostly paint on that. I love it. Well, absolutely, Ian. Please, please, please give her my best, and thank her for allowing us to borrow you every week. All right, so this is just burnt umber and a little bit of black. It's not designed to be as dark as it needs to be, because I want to sneak up on this, because again, I don't want to get into doing a bunch of repairs on this. Again, this is super, super crazy light layers. Like if I pull this off now, you'll be able to see the brown, but it's going on so light because any extra spray on this is going to cause it to spider web and get funky. And again, I really, really, really don't want to have to fix this. I just want to kind of do it and make it work. If you saw the title page tonight, you noticed that this penny had a real shiny kind of look to it. Excuse me. Oh, jeez. Excuse me. That is the Ottobourne sealer, the 6000. I did hit it with a little bit of sealer once I did the background. I'm going to move this magnet because I'm having a hard time seeing around the shadow that it's casting. So I'm going to put it, you can't see it, it's up above. So now it just pops off the penny, but it's being held in the right spot. So when I kind of lean it down like this, it's going to be in the right spot. No, it isn't. It just moved. Oh, well. Well, now you get to see it. All right, so now let's see what we're doing. Am I off on that? I'm thinking yes. But even then, it's probably dark enough right now. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. The rear stabilizer looks amazing. All that's lined up perfectly. The front is all lined up. The wing is lined up. The shadow, it's really just this backside. And that's what I'm talking about. Like that's way off. So we're going to fix that before we move on, but it is working. Honey, yes, Colin's birthday is the 25th. So super happy. My eldest boy. All right, so we're going to fix this. So how do I fix this? It's got a blue fade, which is really subtle from the top to the bottom. Luckily, that area right there doesn't go. If it was the wings that I'd have to fix, this blue up top is much darker, obviously, than the almost white down here. That area right there is mostly one color. So it's an easier fix. So we're going to fix that now. Oh, Ian, you're awesome, Ian. I'm going to turn on El Palette Camo so we can look at what's going on here. There we go. Because I need a light blue. I can start with white and tint it, which is fine. I think this is the middle part of it was daylight blue. It's usually what I do, and I can't remember if any of you guys remember whenever I did this. But my guess is daylight blue because I use daylight blue a lot now. If not, I know the darker part of it's probably cobalt blue. Those are the ones I use a lot: the cobalt blue and the daylight blue, the opaque daylight blue. So we're going to mix up a really light daylight blue right here. Now, even if this is not daylight blue that I used, this is probably going to be close enough. It's going to be lighter than what's there, but that's okay. Because what we're doing is we're basically first order of business is to remove the orange. And I'm screwing this up. But that's okay. It's fine. Everything's fine. So again, I got to take the curse off the orange first anyway. You know, if I mix it up exactly the right color, that's fine. But, you know, you'd still have to go over it a billion times to get it to cover. So by going with a little bit lighter color and then hitting it the last round with the exact color, just basically does the job. And I want to be careful with this and go really just like kind of put a layer on and let it dry. Because I don't want to be, you know, constantly pulling it up, which it will. But you can clearly see that it's, you know, lighter than what it should be right now. So I'll let that dry. Ah, Sailor Moon. I haven't thought about Sailor Moon in a long time. That's cool. What else we got? Oh my God. Yeah, collarbones suck. Rotator cuffs, that sucks. Anything shoulder related. I saw Jerry Cheever's goalie mask. Well done, Patrick. I am actually going to be painting an old school hockey goalie mask coming up for my cousin, which I will keep you all in the loop on. He's got some great ideas for it, and the only commissions I'm really taking these days are family right now. All right, so I've mixed up a little bit darker blue. You saw me go over to the palette there real quick. We'll try that, although that's pretty damn close to start. So the idea is to not have to spray anything. That would be ideal. Because the moment I pick up the airbrush and, you know, try to blend it together is the moment that I get blue overspray all over everything. At this scale anyway. So that's working out pretty well. And from here it's just a matter of, you know, doing very slight adjustments to it until it disappears. There's still that line down the bottom, that darker line, and I don't know what that is. But we'll figure it out. So doing the repairs along the way is exactly what painting razor blades are, or this thing, or whatever. You know, with some of the other paintings, you can kind of deal with the repairs and stuff after, but with this, it's always a back and forth. It's always a repair. That's what they do. I mean, that's how they work. It's over and over, same thing. So you just kind of deal with it, you know. I mean, it just kind of go with it. So now what I'm doing is I'm grabbing, since that bottom of it, there's a little dark blue line, and I don't know why. So I'm going to mix another light version of this blue. And we're going to get rid of that, and then I can go back to trying to mix the colors. And for this one, I'm going to turn the penny so I can get at it this way. Actually, is that disappearing as it dries? It is. Huh. Well, that's new. Actually, it's darkening too. Do you see how it's like blending in now? Oh, I love painting. Painting is so much fun. Let me see if I can focus that a little bit better for you. Yeah, see how it's like darkened up a little bit? It's not as bright. So now I'm going to abort that plan. Is it still too light? It's still too light. So I'm going to add a touch more of the blue to the same color that worked just a second ago. And this should be the last pass. I should be able to pull this off. We'll see. Now, what I want to do here, since this is really the last adjustment, I want to do this with a kind of a dry brush. I don't want to flood it on there because I want to have a lot of control over how much of the stuff I put on. Because I want to be able to kind of like put a little bit on, which that feels really bright now, like the blue. But I'm not going to panic yet. I'm just going to kind of let it sit there and do its thing. Again, because it seems to tend to darken a little bit when it dries, which is weird because I've never noticed that before. So there's that. Patty, be safe. Thank you so much for jumping in. You're awesome, Patty. We are all family here, honey. Absolutely. You guys are awesome. Lincoln on a Plane, 1947. That'd be cool. I'm looking forward to this now. Like, I don't know how many more I'll be able to get done in any kind of time frame because I got so much other stuff going on, but it's going to be fun grabbing like different coins and finding out like a cool thing that happened, during that year, and then, do the painting in relationship to the coin. I think it's defacing public property. I think it's probably not, not really legal, but whatever. How do I feel about that? I still don't feel great. I feel like it's too light. It's still too light. Let's see what happens when it dries, though. Plus, I don't remember adding any black to it, but I feel like it needs a touch of black. This is the game we play. But we're not going to play this game all night, though. Because we got stuff to do. I can always, nitpick the thing to death. But, I mean, already, like, if you sit back, like, a foot, you can't see it. But that's not good enough. We want to have it done. Yeah, that just feels too bright. So I'm going to take, like, a minuscule amount of black here and add that to it. That's going to gray it out a little bit. And did I think it was too light? I did think it's too light. So I'm going to take a little tiny bit of blue. So, you think about color matching and all that fun stuff. This is really small. Like, there's not a lot you can do with this. You can't really cut out a little window and mess with it. You just got to kind of go for it. So what I did up top here, I don't know if you were able to see it, but I had a little bit too much black on the brush. So I kind of, brought it over here and wiped off the black. And that gives me this. Now this also feels a little bit darker and grayer, so I got to be super careful with this color. So again, off the side, which I'll do right here, I just kind of brush out the paint so that the brush is really dry. There's not a lot of paint in there. So that way when I go over this, it's just barely putting paint on. Again, this is too small really to airbrush. You could, but I'd have to like kind of block off the plane and hope that nothing got on it, which is a pain in the butt. I'd also have to be careful not to disturb the stuff around it, which is hard, to do. So it's easier for me to just kind of color match with the paintbrush and keep picking at it till I get it. But that's all I'm going to do with this. I do need to keep messing with this because I can still see it. You guys are getting a better view, as it kind of settles down. But I mean, there you go. Now you can see it. So you can still see it. When I'm done with that, you won't be able to see that. All right. So there we go. All right. What do we got? Don't look at it zoomed in. I know. That's the other thing. Yeah, Michael's killing the skull painting. Michael, I didn't even see you finish the glass painting too. That was cool. Michael did he's been working on a bunch of stuff, but one of the things he was doing was one of Drew Blair's images, but he painted it on glass, which was a lot of fun. And I was impressed with that. Okay, so let's do a little bit more on this. See what we can do. I'm feeling the wings themselves are a little bit lighter orange. So let's do that. We might as well, because I kind of handle it the same way that I do a big painting. I block it in and then I do the details. That's kind of how it works. And then just, kind of hope for the best along the way. So the wings and the top of the plane are a little bit pale, a little bit more pale than the rest of the orange. So we're going to do this with a little bit of white because I can get a lot of control with just the white. So you would think I would, mix up a pale orange, but you don't have to do that. And again, this is the strength of the airbrushes. You can do a lot of mixing on the surface. You don't have to necessarily, mix up every individual color. I mean, there's less chance of failure when you pre-mix. Like if you want to see that in action, Bill Snagan is on, and when he does his paintings, he will pre-mix a lot of the colors, which saves you a lot of aggravation. So there is that way too. I've always, you know, it's funny, I come from a more watercolory background where you're mixing on the page all the time. So that's kind of the way I attack it. It is not necessarily the right way to do it. Please keep that in mind. All right, so I've got all the upper surfaces now, but I don't have the top of the jet, but that's okay. I'll do that after because I want to get the jet itself kind of done. Jet, I keep saying it's more of a rocket. All right. So we're going to line this up super carefully, make sure we got it in the right spot. Where is that? Got the wings, but I see a shadow over here. Like that's not right, so we're going to try to... There we go, that's better, but that's not good in the front of that thing, so... maybe splitting the difference, that might be the way to go. I'm going to use a magnet here again, because, oh, well, I'll use a magnet here for a second just to hold it. I'm going to grab some white. And I want to grab a real thin white, like basically it's reduced 1 part paint to 5 parts reducer. Because I just want to like barely go over this thing. I just want to hit it really lightly and just change the hue of that orange, the value of that orange to lift it up a little bit. This needs a little bit of love. Come on, man. Shake it. I don't use this color. This mix a lot, so the paint tends to settle out. There we go. Okay. Same deal here as the shadow. I want to go really, really lightly. Now that I've got my paint mixed, I can move the magnet off, and this way you guys can see it too. Good. So again, really light coats, and I want to go really lightly. Just to kind of tilt that to more of a pale orange. That should be good right there. Yeah, and again, you see the top wing is not lined up. So I got to figure out what I'm doing there now too. Do I want to push it back? I should have probably done that. Yeah, we're going to do that. So I'm going to just fix the front of it, and we'll assume the back is correct. So we're going to have a little bit more white at the back here, and that means I only have to fix that leading edge. Good. All right, now the rocket itself. Cut out a new template for that, because basically if I had cut out the jet and the wing all in one piece, like that basically cuts out all of it, and I don't want to do that. I'd rather have a little bit of a separation there, so I'm just going to cut. Now I can just cut out the top of the plane like this, right to the shading line there. And yeah, I can include the little tail piece here because I'm not going to be spraying back this far, but this way there won't be a chance for any kind of weird halo. There we go. If you guys have any questions, let me know as I drop stuff on the floor. I will try to answer them as we go, and if we have other knowledgeable people. Pale orange like a creamsicle. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Oh man, I feel like I got to give something away. Honey, what are you going to do if you can't yell at me? Well, yeah, I guess you can yell at me, honey, anytime. All right, so we'll line this guy up, and I'm going mainly off of the shadow, but then also on the top here. Because I know this isn't going to line up either. This is so small. This is like stupid small. Same deal here. I want to just kind of hit this really lightly. Good. Excellent. All right. That's excellent day. All right, so next thing, what are we doing? See, what I want to do is I want to finish fixing things. But we're not going to do that. So what I am going to do, I'm going to get rid of the white. So now you notice that basically I put the white everywhere that the orange is. Now you don't have any of that full-on orange. So what I'm going to do to remedy that, like on the side of the body where there's that transition where you get the full orange color before it transitions into the shading, I'm just going to put a little bit of opaque orange in the airbrush, and then I'm going to thin it down so it'll spray really nicely. And then I'm just going to follow the band along the shading line. And that'll reintroduce that bright orange. I'm just going to freehand this. So if I was smart, which I'm not, I would put the, the full plain template on it. But I'm not gonna, because what could go wrong? So now I'm just gonna really carefully just run along the top edge of that shadow. And this will give me back that brilliant orange that's, on that transition. What else? I should fix that. I got to fix down here too, because the orange kind of shot down his, this is where Lincoln's shoulder is, right where the tip of this wing is. That's why it's got that little weird point on it. I got to fix that too. How do I want to do this? I'm going to fix stuff. I know it's not exciting, but I got to do it. So I'm assuming this is cobalt blue. It looks the right kind of blue. So for this, I'm going to grab just a real thin version of this blue. That's got black in it. That's not good. But I need brilliant blue for this. So I'm going to grab a little bit of this, a little bit of this, and a lot of reducer. Just wash it right out. Again, this comes from the watercolor side of me, which, acrylic paints aren't designed to work that way, and I know Createx hates when I do it, but as long as you're clearing over it and you know that it's binder pour, you're all set. So now this, again, I'm going to come off the page here, which you guys can't see really. Well, I'll do it right on here. And I'm going to just kind of dry out this brush, take a bunch of the paint off it so it's pretty dry. I got to work fast because once you get it there, it really dries out and then you can't use it. So now with this dry brush, I can kind of come up here where the white crept out in front of the leading edge of this wing. And I can just like put a little coat on there and then just wait a second. Wait for that to dry. Make sure it's, heading in the right direction. Put another coat on there. And that's gone. It's disappeared. There's a bunch of overspray in the front of this plane too. I got a lot of work to do on this. Oh well, that's what's fun about it, right? It's fun, right? I'm gonna grab some white now and fix the little tip. So, if you guys have been hanging out with me on Wednesday nights, we've been doing the Tokyo painting. These paintings, these razor blade paintings and this coin painting, these have even more stuff going on than the big old Tokyo painting. The Tokyo painting has a lot of detail in it, but it's not, even that scale isn't as nitpicky as this, which it seems hard to believe, but it's true. All right, so I'm going to use the white here and start putting in some of the details, like the little top rib that's on top of this jet, or rocket, as it were. And what's nice is the white is, if it's really thin, it becomes really transparent. So you'll see the orange through it. So if I go, with light coats on this, it still remains kind of orangey, which is nice. And the other, I feel like that's too far forward too. I don't know. It's going to take some messing with. Hit that again now that that's dry down here, and that's pretty much gone. It's this blue I'm still not happy with. Still, I can still see it. As long as I can see it, I'm not going to be happy with it. So I just hit it with the white again to kind of reset it. But I'll get there. I will get there. And then that, oy. All right, and then the, do I have orange on here? I don't even have orange on the palette. That's interesting. Let's throw a little bit. This is opaque orange, and it's what I use. It's basically Bell, Bell orange. So I'll grab some of that. A little bit of white, because we want this. I do want a pale orange to do that the top edge of the plane. Since I'll be fixing all of this anyway, you know, in the front, the nose of this guy, I can start putting this stuff in now. This obviously would be the time to fix anything that was wonky in the edge of the plane. But again, what I really want to do is I want to make sure I do the background first before I put this kind of detail on, because if I start working on the background, it'll cut into that maybe, and, you know, wouldn't, you know, I'd have to redo all this. So it's just, you know, it's just good practice to kind of start with the background and move on from there. But you guys don't want to see me fixing the background nonstop. So again, that pale orange gives that really, you know, it tightens up that edge, and it also, you know, really shows that light side of it. This horizontal stabilizer seems like it's too far forward too. I think I got to fix that as well, which is okay. Obviously, logos like the stars and bars, you know, the US, where is it? I'll try to show you here on one of these that aren't cut up. So the stars and bars, those little, you know, star and bar, the logos and stuff, obviously that's last. And also there's a cool, you know, jet blast out of the back. That's also, you know, that's last. All right, so I got to fix this. I think that's probably a pretty decent place to stop, because now we got something done on it, and we're still able to give away a painting. Brandon, what's up? I don't think Brandon's won. Todd, you got to fight Brandon now. That's good though. It's good, because everyone gets a painting. If you hang around long enough, you get a painting. Just ask Ian. All right. Yeah, I think that's probably a good place to stop for the evening, because we've been on for about an hour. Oh, what'd I do? I don't know what I did. Yeah, and this will give me time to get those other paintings on. If anyone has seen Dan on, if Dan said anything, then let me know. But I will. I'm going to put all 5 up on the website when we're done. So again, if you're interested in them, I would deeply appreciate it over the next few weeks. If you guys know anyone who would like something, I'm moving the lights now so we can swap out. If you know anyone over the, you know, that might enjoy one of the 543s, there are a ton of them up there, or wants just an amazing detail opportunity on a razor blade painting and the Chevelle painting, those are both up for sale. So please take advantage of that. And again, I'm not going to be shy and not tell you what that would mean to me at this particular time. Things are wonky and it all hit at once. So you guys just being here and commenting and hitting that like button, and you know, your super thanks are amazing. So I am humbled, and I am deeply, deeply thankful that you guys are all hanging out and, you know, helping me out. So I appreciate it. This week, the vacuum tube is going to be up on time lapse, so you can watch me paint that in about 7 minutes, which is fun. And then I have the video pretty much ready to go for the Tokyo painting, so you can hang out with me on that. That is coming out crazy. We're almost to the point where I can say that it's. I mean, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel for this guy. Here is the Tokyo painting right now, and you guys are actually seeing 2 weeks in advance. So I've already finished 2 episodes filming for this one, so you guys get to see a little preview of it. But yeah, if you want to see how this thing works, we work on that every Wednesday night, and it's fun. We do a premiere, so it's not live, but I'm in the comments with everyone as it airs for the first time. And you don't have to be a member for that. That's just something that, you know, gets put up. So join us for that too, and that's what I got. All right. So thank you all again. For Steve Leahy and Open Studio and Time Lapse Tuesday and Monday Night Live, I appreciate you guys all more than you know, and I will catch you guys all next week. Thanks a lot.